pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call the regular city council meeting for Tuesday, February 6th to order. Roll call, please.
Goodchild.
Here.
Wick.
Yes.
Sturgeon.
Yep.
Bruns.
Here.
Pick.
Here. Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. First thing on the agenda is a hearing for the Lamar's Interchange track project. At the January 16, 2024 meeting, council set this date and time to hear public comments on plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Lamar's Interchange track project. The track is proposed to be next to the existing interchange between 18th Street Southwest and Lincoln Street. I'd like to open the meeting to ask for any comments on the project. Anybody here to comment on the Lamar's Interchange track project? If so, please stand. Seeing none, I will close the hearing and turn to the council and notify the council that the administration recommends approval of the project and authorize staff to negotiate the acquisition of the needed property. The estimate of $930,000 for this project would be reimbursed by tax incremental financing, TIF.
Clark, did you get a tour out there? Did you go out and look at it?
I did not. I was actually going to line that up
Yeah.
today for this week,
Okay.
but no, I did not.
Okay. I'd make a motion to adopt resolution number 24-6 on plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Lamar's Interchange track project, and authorizing staff to acquire the needed property.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just one question. There's no fixed buildings or anything along that are going to need to be moved as a result of
There's a
that?
bunch of easements.
No. It's kind of,
It's
I
back
don't
in
want to
there.
say worthless property, but it's not very
Basically,
valuable.
Yeah.
You wouldn't build it.
Yeah.
I just kind of want it on the record that
Mhm.
shouldn't be a big issue.
All right. Any further discussion?
Good question, though, Brad.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Sturgeon.
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
Pick.
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yep.
Wick.
it was me first. Okay. Now it's your turn.
Yes.
Pickwick. Pickwick.
He gets to vote twice.
You can use first.
All right, we got
Still.
that? Okay, moving on to the second agenda item, which is another hearing
You want to note not that.
for Palmer and Martfeld rezoning. At the January 16, 2024 meeting, council set this date and time to hear public comments regarding the proposed rezoning of 2690 Lincoln Avenue Southwest, Palmer, and 2542 Lincoln Avenue Southwest, Martfeld, from R rural to I3 heavy industrial. I'd like to open the hearing and ask for any comments regarding the rezoning. Anybody here to talk about the rezoning of those properties? Seeing nobody jump up, I will close the hearing and turn to the council. And the administration and planning and zoning recommend council approval.
Motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 988 amending zoning districts.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I will add one more comment, and that is, I think both property owners, at least one property owner was at the planning and zoning. Both of them were, so that they knew what was going on. This won't be a big surprise, so. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Pick.
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Wick.
Yes.
Sturgeon.
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Next up, general discussion. Any citizens here to address the council? Don't see anybody jumping up. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi.
Thumbs Up Award. We'll start with you, Brad.
I don't have anything today.
Okay. Brian?
Pass.
Clark? Nothing. I don't really have anything. Steve?
No.
I have two, so I'll make up for it.
All right, Mark.
Thumbs up to the members of the CERT team for a successful de-escalation of what could have been a really bad situation with
Sure.
the Amber Alert guy.
Good point.
And thumbs up to Kellens for how quickly and efficiently they removed the Erdmanville structures.
True.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the mud looks better than what was there, but open space is good, and it's nice to see progress. So, thank you. Okay, moving on to consent items. Under the consent items, we have an approval of the January 16, 2024 regular meeting minutes, a list of bills for period ending 1/31/2024, renewal of the liquor license for the Dusty Lady Brew, Walmart, Quick Star, and Kim's, Kimes. Urban revitalization tax exemption request, a certified list of qualified civil service examinees, the Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board recommendations for funding, and an appointment for one of our boards. Any questions or discussions on any of those items?
I would make a motion, we accept consent items 1 through 7.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to action items. E1, Surface Transportation Block Grant Program. The City of Lamar's has consistently used STBG funding for eligible roadway improvements. Past projects include Central Avenue, 5th Street South to 12th Street South. That was done in fiscal year 2022. 12th Street Southwest, Central Avenue to 6th Avenue West, fiscal year 23. 7th Avenue, K49 to 18th Street Southeast and 24th Street Southeast. That was done in fiscal year 24. Attached is an application for 7th Avenue Southeast, 12th Street to 18th Street. Funding would be for fiscal year 28 construction. The project consists of removal and replacement of the middle 21 feet with 8 inches of PCC. Administration recommends the council approve the submittal of the application by February 16, 2024 deadline. Current estimate for construction is $1,210,020. Total requested from STBG funding would cover $968,000 and $16, $968,016, and local share being covered by road use tax.
So, couple things. 18th to K to C38, what did the, and no one's gonna be able to answer this question, so how thick is that? No, the reason I'm asking is because this is a heavily trucked, and is 8 inches enough? And if, you know, that's why I'm curious about that. If that thickness is, because this is a heavily traveled agricultural road into town. So that's my curiosity, is if 8 inches is sufficient.
This is just for the application.
I understand that, Mike, but I didn't know if you needed specifications on it when you start asking for grants. That's why I'm bringing it up.
And it would change the cost.
It would change the cost, although I don't think a couple inches would probably do that much to it. You know, got the same steel, whatever, but it's, so if we apply for it and then, it's probably fine, it's just a question I have.
Well, whatever, if it needs more depth, the road use tax would still be able to use road use tax and pay for whatever the additional cost would be.
Yeah, as long as, I mean, that's a joke question, but I'm assuming yes. So I'm not opposed to it, I didn't know how specific these applications are. I know they're a couple years out every time. so I don't think it's probably an issue, but I wanted to ask the question. I mean, we're 4 years ahead, so.
How's our road use tax balance looking?
We spend it pretty much every year. We do about
Spend it all.
1.4 million each year, so.
Okay.
And it'll, you know, this is 4 years down the road, so it's
This is
gonna,
28.
you know, so it's,
Yeah.
it's kind of moot at this point, but I'm good with it. It needs to be replaced. Motion to approve the application for surface transportation block grant program for 7th Avenue Southeast, 12th Street to 18th Street project for FY '28 construction.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that?
Just
All
remember,
those-
current estimate is 1.2 million,
I
so when they
understand.
go to do it, it'll be over 2 million.
It will, it will. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, but you have to apply 5 years out, so, yeah, you're right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion to approve resolution number 24-6, officially.
Seven.
Sorry.
24-7, officially committing funds to provided for the operation and maintenance of said roadway.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I need a roll call vote on that, please.
Sturgeon,
Yes.
Pick,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes. Never saw that.
Motion carried. Moving on to action item E2. Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP application. In February of 2022, the city submitted an application to receive funds for the Lamar's pedestrian bridge replacement project. The request was for $387,757.50 of the $775,515 project. The advisory committee awarded $287,600 due to available funds. Attached is an application to request additional TAP funding for the project. Funding is available for federal fiscal year 27 or 28. Administration recommends council approve submittal of application by the February 16, 2024 deadline. The current estimate for construction is $753,500. The total requested from TAP funding would cover $522,800 of the cost. This is the pedestrian bridge on the golf course, I believe. Number 7, right?
Yes.
T-box, 7.
So is this a get it or you don't get it deal? I mean, you get it in its entirety, or can they come back and say, we'll give you 250, or?
They awarded us 287,575 last year, because that's all that was left, and so now we're trying to get more to help aid the
Total.
Motion to authorize a TAP application for the Lamar's recreational bridge replacement project.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to approve resolution number 24-8, officially endorsing that the city of Lamar's will operate and maintain the bridge as part of the recreational trail for a minimum of 20 years.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Sturgeon,
Yes.
Pick,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to action item E3, 13th Avenue Northwest Engineering Agreement. The Lamar's Business Initiative Corporation, LBIC, has been having conversations with a developer to create housing on land north of Parkview Terrace Mobile Home Park. The city sold 38.14 acres to the LBIC in November of 2023. Development of the property would require the city to provide sanitary, water, storm, and access to the property. Access would include the construction of 13th Avenue Northwest past the Riverview Complex and the relocation of the Police Department shooting range and twig, branch, and grass site. Attached is a proposal from Beck Engineering to create plans to provide infrastructure stated above. Administration is recommending council approve the proposal. The contract total is $75,400. Costs will be paid from sanitary, water, storm, and road use tax.
Multiple questions. Can we know who this is, Mark? Can we know who the development is? Who are the developers?
Yeah, they're not ready to be public yet. We're working on a purchase agreement for that, but it'll be a higher density project that can create about 109 housing units.
Okay, and these houses will be for sale, not for
sale.
rent?
This will be for sale.
Okay. And then, and Jason's not here, so somebody can help me out. In other development agreements, don't we split the costs? Schuster, K&S?
This isn't within the development, it's to the development.
This is getting to it.
Infrastructure to the edge of the development.
It would basically is, paving a street from Highway 3 into the development.
And running water and sewer.
Right.
And
So
then
basically along the ball fields there.
once we're in the development, if there's a request, then there would be a development agreement. But this is just to get to the development, so there will be a way in and out.
Okay, do we have a plan for police shooting range and for Twig and Branch? I know different things have been talked about.
Yeah, the latest that I was told is the Twig and Branch dump will go to the west end of Southview Industrial Park. We've got quite a bit of land over there. And then as far as the police shooting range goes, I don't know if that has been.
Jason's not here. Myself and Jason and Doug Massoon met last week, and there is a potential site out at wastewater 2. However, we need some guidance from DNR before we would move forward with that.
Out at the wastewater west plant?
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. So there is something in the works.
So we've got some works going on.
Yeah, there's nothing set in stone though.
Right, okay, okay.
Mark, for that Twig and Branch relocation, is that going to have some negative, like traffic, if there's industrial traffic as well? And then we all know going out to the current location, there's always branches from people that don't secure their load. Is that an issue?
I would suggest that road has got less traffic than Highway 3. So I would think it would be less of an issue for the community. We are in the process of paving Southview Industrial Park, so if people don't tie their stuff down, whether it's at the current site or the new one, it's certainly a problem. But as far as impeding traffic in our industrial park, I don't anticipate that.
It's a further drive for Mark and I, so.
A lot.
We'll secure our loads though, right? Mark?
Somewhat.
Oh, always.
My only question was for parking at the ballparks. If we're moving the Twig and Branch site, I assume we could turn that into a parking lot?
We've had discussions with the developer on that. Potentially green space for something to get used, whether it be soccer or whatnot. We see it, since there's already ball fields out there, we see an opportunity. You can't build there because it used to be a dump. But could it be a recreation type field? But if you look at the plan, there is parking planned on either side of the street, which right now, it's kind of a free-for-all when there's ball games out there.
Now,
And so,
according to the drawing, you're really kind of moving the street just a little bit further to the west.
Right.
But that's one of the concerns I had too, was that, on game nights, you're gonna have, there could be some
but
congestion issues.
we could take a look at taking a portion of that green, there's gonna be an awful lot of green space back there. We could take a portion of that and turn it into parking. And that's a discussion we will need to have with the Galen folks.
Yeah, that's true.
We talked about that at committee level or in the legal meeting, and yeah, there's a fair amount of parking in the outfield of the softball field.
Correct.
I've been by there and gone to a few games. It's very underutilized out there, so there is space, I guess, but
I didn't know people parked out there.
yeah. Yeah. It's actually probably safer parking out there than it is behind.
Other than some of the stuff in the dumps still coming up.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
I guess, as long as there's some consideration for that issue in the plan.
I'd make a motion to approve the engineering agreement with Beck Engineering for the design of 13th Avenue Northwest in the amount of $75,400.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to action item number 4, Lamar's Area Daycare Center request. A child care market study was done in Lamar's 2 years ago. The market study identified a need for at least 500 more child care spots in Lamar's. A task force was formed with 2 goals: work with existing child care providers to increase their capacity, and 2, explore creating a community child care center. As a result of number 2, Lamar's Area Child Care Center, Inc., a 501c3 nonprofit, was formed. They have since purchased the former Building Blocks building and entered into an agreement for Crittenden Center to manage the facility and provide child care and preschool. There is a capacity of 217 children in the building and land available to build another building. LCDC is currently fundraising to fund the purchase of the building, and FF&E, their goal is to raise $3 million. They are requesting $250,000 from the City of Lamar's. Administration recommends that the City of Lamar's support the purchase of the community-owned child care center building and utilize $250,000 of ARPA funds to fund the request.
Just a couple of additional comments. When this started, the reason for wanting to purchase Building Blocks is there was a lot of capacity in that building not being used. And rather than go out and construct another building, it was our thought if that building could get used, because it's less than 10 years old, it'd be less expensive and quicker to achieve the goal of taking care of upwards of 200 kids soon. And at that same time, we were invited to a meeting at Wells Enterprises, who they've been utilizing to help subsidize daycare